Hello boys, welcome back to the Player Podium. I'm your host Alfie and this is going to be a very long one, so buckle up, grab some popcorn, grab a drink, and here are the rules. Up to 3 players per team are awarded points based on individual performance, with the best player receiving 3 points, second best receiving 2 points and third best receiving 1 point. If a team has less than 3 outstanding players, their best performing player may receive less than 1 point. Players accumulate points each game week and are placed onto a leaderboard, and every week one player is awarded Game of the Week, and this week is a double game week video, so I'm going to be doing every game from game week 13 and all the games so far up to game week 14. I haven't yet seen the result or anything from the Man United West Ham game because that game hasn't happened yet by the time of recording. That will have happened by the time the video's gone out, so I will make the necessary additions to the list, and before the video next week I will just let you know who I've put in the list. This is your reminder of the standings so far, with Haaland clearly out in first, with Minter actually in second with 16 points, fairly underrated start to the season, Caicedo, Grealish and Diar following, with Thiago and Bomo and Eze not far in behind, and Eze with his hat-trick last weekend with Player of the Week. I'm going to try and get through these fairly quickly because I have a lot to get through and I can't necessarily remember everything for every game. So I'll start quickly with Brentford 3, Burnley 1. It was 0-0 for quite a while, so I did actually have 0-0, well not 0-0, but I had a bet on that they would draw. Obviously didn't come through in the end, but left it till late. But they've got the really nice little technique that they've got with Asaro going forward, bursting through into the box. And, you know, they kept hacking away, and eventually it came through in the end. It was a pretty slow first half, but second half, Brentford just had that bit of quality going forward that Burnley kind of lack. I mean, Fleming's not a bad player at all, but he's probably a 6 goal a season striker in the Premier League, something around that. The wingers, Anthony started well, hasn't really shown anything outside of that. I think Brun Larsson's quite a good player, but A doesn't get the game time, or B isn't really consistent enough to do the bits for them. They need a big January, or it's looking pretty bleak over there in the north. Brun Larsson's countryman Damsgaard gets 1 point, very creatively solid. A player like Damsgaard would really sort Burnley out. He was really good getting the ball forward in that game, kind of facilitating a lot of the actual attacks, and yeah, he gets 1 point from Ouattara in 2 points, again winning another penalty. I believe he scored, I'm not 100% on that, but yeah, I mean, he's 42 million again, I think was slight and overpay, but he's proven that he's got a place in the Premier League. You know, he's a Premier League level winger, something that I didn't really think I saw in him at Bournemouth. I thought he could. He's a kind of player that would, you know, go and get 15 GA in League Earn, and we'd like kind of forget about him. But no, he's starting week in week out for Brentford, and deservedly so. And 3 points again, Igor Thiago, second highest in the Premier League Golden Boot race, and probably won't catch Haaland. Definitely won't catch Haaland, but he's had a really good start to the season. I think it was 2 in the end in that game. Again, like I said, the details are a bit hazy. I can't really remember them, but yeah, 2 goals I think in that game, and just keeping Brentford chugging along, keeping them in that like mid-table kind of right. And they are an inconsistent team by nature. I mean, this is a new manager. This is a like kind of a new outlook for the team, a new set up. So they won't have these results all the time. And you've seen they've lost games against Fulham where they got pumped, but this is, if they can show the other side of that, they're fine to be inconsistent because they will pick the points up in the end. Hartman with 1 point in that game. I do quite like Hartman. I signed him on FM and he was shite for me in a save that I did last year, but you can ignore that. In real life, he's a very tidy little player. I could see him ending up at a team like Brentford in a few years, but getting down that left-hand side, he's pretty solid. He's got a really good pass on him, really good cross on him, and he gets a point in that game. And Fleming with the 2. It was a penalty, but you know, he scored the goal. It didn't have a massive impact on the game overall, but there are little momentum swings with every goal. Basically every goal is relevant. So I can't really fault him for scoring in a game where he didn't get the ball and really that much. So if he takes his chances when he gets them, that's, you know, it was a penalty, yes, but still a chance in the end. City 3, Leeds 2. Bit of a nervy performance from City. A few defensive mistakes, giving the ball away to Leeds a little bit too much for my liking. If you for one of the best teams in the country to let Dominic Calvert-Lewin score on you, not a very good look. But they got the result in the end. They bit of quality shining through. Foden had a great game, got 2 really nice goals in the midst of a scrappy little Guardiola goal, and his goal scoring slowed down a lot from, was it last season or the season before, when he had about 10 goals or something ridiculous like that. But he's still chugging in the good performances. And Leeds, this is a positive sign, to be fair. Obviously they haven't got points in the end and they would have liked to hold out, but there was a bit of individual quality from Foden that you can't really deny. Like, there's nothing you could have really done about that. And yeah, people shouting for Farke's head. I mean, obviously after the result this game week, you know, maybe it's not necessarily the way to go. I mean, there's been a few good performances now. They had a few stinkers, but they're starting to look like a good team. The players are starting to gel a little bit, and you know, if they pick up the wins, then I think Farke will definitely keep his seat. Jeremy Doku gets a point again, just creatively great. He's putting in the performances now when he doesn't get the goals and assists that make you realise that he is a top level winger, and he did the same against Leeds. Obviously, he didn't get on the goal sheet and might have got an assist. I don't know the specifics off the top of my head, but still was a good performance. Still caused havoc for Leeds and gets a point for him in that game. Guardiola with 2 points scored a very important goal to because if Leeds would have gone 2-1 up, I think they would have won that game. As a matter of fact. So he did what he needed to do. It was obviously not a fault. Well, he was at fault for the penalty, was it? Is that what happened? But I think he had every right to go in for the ball. Personally, he just mistimed it a little bit. But I think around that the performance was good. The penalty was saved in the end, but you know, they got the rebound. But yeah, I don't think outside of the penalty, which was a mistake. But I think he had the right to go for the ball, and I think he did well outside of that. Even so, he scored, so it kind of counts him out, so he gets 2 points. Big Phil Foden with 3 points does beg the question why he wasn't getting this game time last season. Like, he's a great player, he's a really, really good player. And people clowned on him last season because he wasn't really playing. Like, obviously he didn't get the performances, but he can't get the performances when he's not on the pitch. And people saying he's fallen off this and that, and now people are saying again, does he start for England? I don't think so, because he's proven that he doesn't play well for England, but you know, he's putting himself in the conversation with these kind of performances. 2 goals, 2 really nice goals against Leeds, and you know they're not the greatest opposition in the world, but you can only beat who you're up against, and he really, really made a difference for Man City. The Metch is starting to string together a little bit of good form, and I don't think it's a coincidence that when he started to get a good run of games under his belt, that Leeds has started to look a lot better. He was pretty dangerous in that game for Leeds. He obviously missed his penalty, but you know, he was there to tuck the rebound away, and so it happens. Like, if you score the rebound, no one's gonna really complain at you. Like, it was the goal went in anyway, even if it wasn't off the original shot. And yeah, I much prefer him over Calvert-Lewin. I've made that fairly clear, I think, by now. But I think when those two, I think Calvert-Lewin, I don't remember if Calvert-Lewin came on for him, but I would be interested to see how those two work together, because off the ball I think Metch's quite fast, and when against Villa I especially remember him, his link-up play was pretty good. So I would be interested to see those two in a 2-striker formation with Calvert-Lewin maybe playing off the shoulder, try and get him 6 yards away from the goal where he can actually put the ball in the back of the net. Maybe that's a bit of a pipe dream, but yeah, I think it would be worth a go. Even Tanaka, 2 points. I really, really like Tanaka. I don't remember why he wasn't starting a lot this season. I think it was because he was injured. I'd hope that's the reason, because if he just wasn't being played just because, and yeah, that's why. Like, Farke would be in so much more of a secure position if he had the option to play Tanaka, and did. But I think he really marshalled it for Leeds in the midfield. Was probably definitely their best midfield player, and in my opinion, their best player in that game. So I've given him 2 points, and you'll see later on he's got on the sheet again. But honestly, he is like a really good little. He's quite small, but he's really like strong for his size, and he's got the heart to throw himself into a challenge. He's a player that I really like. I'd happily have him at Villa off the bench. I mean, I think he's just genuine. I think he's a really good player. I'm really happy to see him get games, and for the little that I caught the Championship last season, I did enjoy whenever I watched Leeds. I did enjoy watching him play. So yeah, it's 2 points in that game. Really good performance. Sunderland 3, Bournemouth 2. Bournemouth let this slip away from them a little bit. I think Sunderland deserved the win. I think Bournemouth's definitely second goal was opportunistic. It wasn't that it wasn't fantastic, 'cause it was, but it was opportunistic, and it was kind of caused by Sunderland in a sense. That Tyler Adams shot was really nice, but again, this is a really good win for Sunderland, because Bournemouth they're not in great form at the moment, but they're still a really good team, and they're not easy to beat in the slightest. And I mean, they went 2-0 down, so they proved that they can find it difficult against these teams. And when they went 2-0 down, I kind of thought, oh, is this going to be one of these games as a promoted team that you remember, that you're just like, oh, well, it happens. Like, we take a 3-4-0 loss and just go on to the next game, even though we started really well. But no, they came back. I mean, showed really good grit, really good fight, which is something that Sunderland, they've demonstrated on many occasions this season. And they ended up winning the game, which is just like, yeah, I'm really impressed with it. Again, I really want to see Bobby starting. Like, Isidore's not bad, but I mean, against Liverpool, he had the chance to score and didn't. I think, not that Isidore's bad. Again, I just think Bobby's better. I think Sunderland, I do want to see Bobby get a run of games like Nmecha has with Leeds in that number 9 position, and I think the goals he scored, he definitely deserves it. So if they start Bobby, I think their like European place push isn't gonna be stopped at all. I think they can just march on with that. Obviously, it's going to see what they do in January, and we need to see what happens with the other games that they play, because this is a big fixture congestion. This is where we really find out. Obviously, have they invested well, which we know they have, but have they invested in the whole squad as opposed to just you start an 11? This is going to be a really gritty period for Sunderland, so it's good to start with a win. My boy Bertrand Traore getting a point. I do love Bertrand Traore. It was great for us in that lockdown season. Really nice memories of him. Obviously, he scored against Leicester and Forest as well, season before last, to get us into Champions League, or help our European effort at the very least. So yeah, got a lot of love for Bertrand Traore, and I was really happy to see him scoring in that game. Robin Roofs is genuinely just a really great goalkeeper. He's kind of taken all the plaudits away from Matt Sells as being the underrated bottom European pushing team goalkeeper. Sells has still been great, but Roofs has just been such a good keeper this season that, rightfully so, he's been getting a lot of the praise in the goalkeeper department. And another great performance against Bournemouth, and another 2 points on the sheet. At the start of the season, I didn't think Enzo Lefebvre had performed as... He wasn't performing badly. I just didn't think he'd performed as well as I kind of expected him to. I thought he would be the main man for Sunderland, because obviously he was there last season. He knows the team. He knows what it's like to perform for Sunderland. And I thought, he's a really tidy little player. He's going to be driving them forward. And at the start of the season, that wasn't necessarily the case. But this year, not this year. I mean, these last few runner games, he has really picked it up. Like, his performances have just gone from... Like, they were already up here, but they've just risen just even higher. And he was the player of the match for me in that one, and he gets 3 points. Giving Tavernier 1 point, again, was more of the main man in that game. I think he's kind of taken over the mantle from Semenya. I think Semenya's performances have dropped in the last few games. I think Tavernier's have picked up. They've kind of swapped the roles. Tavernier was a little bit behind Semenya in the first half of the season so far, and now it's kind of reversed. But yeah, again, I don't think he got a goal or assist in the game, but he was attacking creativity was great. He was very positive. He was causing Sunderland some issues, but obviously they have a difficult defence to break down. But even so, he gave it a very solid go, and yeah, I think he was deserving of a point. Amin Adley gets a point as well. I remember him being a great wonder kid on FIFA a few years ago. I wasn't playing really FM at the time when he was like in his early 20s, but he used to be I used to sign him a lot on FIFA. To see him score in the Premier League, it's quite nice. I like seeing former wonder kids do well, and yeah, Adley gets 2 points. I don't think his overall performance was really fantastic, to be honest. Like, he didn't have a bad game by any stretch of imagination, but I think he's one of those that, like, your goal carries you a little bit, not all the way, but it helps you out a lot in terms of the points, because goals have a lot of weight. So yeah, he gets 2 points for me in that game. And Tyler Adams gets a 3. Lovely halfway line goal. Really nice stuff from him. And he's been a really good player for Bournemouth this season. He's been so good in the heart of that midfield. Not got enough plaudits from him, as many people, and me included. He's gone a bit under the radar for me as well, but I think people are starting to sit up and smell the roses and realise that Adams is a really terrific player. Was really solid in the base, that midfield. I don't think it was a great midfield performance from Bournemouth overall, but I think he was probably the highlight of that, and yeah, deserved a 3 point. With how poor Newcastle have been in times this season, I thought away at the Hill Dickey was going to be a difficult game, and it just wasn't. Like, first half, second half, not a lot happened, but first half, Newcastle absolutely walked all over Everton. I think it was 3 odd goals in the first half, something like that. It might have been 4, I can't really remember, but yeah, Everton, they struggled really badly. These games kind of like, Newcastle are still a great team. They haven't started the season perfectly, but they're still a really good team. So losing at home wouldn't have been the worst result in the world, but a 4-1 loss, it's not pretty signs. It's really not pretty signs. I don't think it's something to worry about. Every team has that kind of game here and there. Like Liverpool, that 7-2 is a key. There was no indication that was going to happen, and I didn't think that Newcastle were going to even win the game, let alone win it in the manner that they did. But yeah, it wasn't Everton's finest day. Let's say that. Dewsbury Hall, another goal for him, and again, been a really solid signing for Everton. I really like his contributions from midfield. Not the most creative player, but he can get forward well for his, like, he's not going to take it past 5, but his intelligence and his forward runs are really good, and he gets himself in really good spaces, and that's what I like about Dewsbury Hall. He can obviously do a bit of the nitty gritty work as well, and he scored in that game. Oh, I don't think it was his, again, best performance, but he scored similarly to what's his face, Adley. But yeah, it's a goal. He scored, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Can't really complain. Indian again in 2 points. I really like him. He's in it because he was Everton's main. He's like their only kind of player creating anything of note. He was the only big spark for Everton in that game, and that was something that was good for him, obviously, but for the team, like at home games, you want to be firing on all cylinders. You want to make your home stadium a place that anyone would fear going. Like, you look on the calendar, you'd be like, oh, God's sake, we're at the Hill Dickinson next. Like, that's the kind of thing you want, and to lose 4-1 at home, it's just not really ideal for Everton. So no one really performed well, but I think India was the best of a bad bunch. Baltimore are back on the score sheet. A lovely little flick over Pickford for that goal. It's really nicely done by the lad. And again, he scores all types of goals, and just plugging the goals away. That's all you really want from your striker. Obviously, you won 4-1, so that goal probably wouldn't have made the most impact in the world on the game. But you know, if your striker's in a good position to score a goal, you'd want him to convert, and that's what Baltimore did. Lewis Miley's got 2. I think he scored and assisted. His goal was the mistake for Pickford, I think. But again, I say it all the time: if you don't shoot, you don't score. And Miley has been out of the team for quite a while, and he came through in that Champions League year, where they were like firing on all cylinders in the Champions League, and then just didn't get through, I don't think. And then he's been injured for a while, but he's come back into the team now, and he looks just right at home. Like, I genuinely think I'd start Tonali, Guimaraes and Miley, because I think that midfield, obviously you lose the grit that Joelinton has, but you've got that still. I mean, Tonali and Guimaraes aren't like wusses or anything. They're not pussies. Like, they're going to get stuck in. And Miley's just that bit more creatively aware, in my opinion. So I think that as a balanced 3, I think that would work a little bit better. And obviously Joelinton hasn't been performing fantastically, so I think Miley's performance warrants more game time going forward. And this is Player of the Week for Game Week 13. It is Malik Shao. Gone very under the radar on the list so far. Been putting in good performances, but like I said last video, hasn't really had the standout performances to warrant being on the list, I don't think. But 2 goals from centre half. You know, he put in a fantastic performance. Defensively solid. They scored 1 goal, but didn't make a difference. And yeah, I think you can't really argue with it. It's 2 goals were like decent goals. You're centre half. You're not expected to score a goal, but you know, he's popped up in a moment to really change the game for his team. Like scoring that early on, that completely alters the course of the game. Sorry, but yeah, it's 3 points for Chow. Spurs 2, Fulham 1 is a very poor result. Against Fulham at home, whose away record has been pretty poor. you can't be doing that, man. You have to be winning these kind of games, and these kind of results are why they are so like mid-table at the moment for Spurs. It's just not exciting. You're not like, as a Spurs fan, I wouldn't be looking at the weekend and thinking, oh yes, I get to go and watch my team play football this week. I'll be like, oh, not these like again. And you've recruited well, but it's just not clicking. Like, some of the Spurs fans are starting to turn on Frank, and you can see why. But I don't. Again, I think he needs a little bit more time. Maybe give him January as well, give him the season. But you got no, because you got Europe. Yeah, they've got European football to contend with as well. So if they can get a good run in the UCL, put a bit of good run form together, maybe get a body or two in Jan, then I think Frank will be good to stay. But yeah, for Fulham, this is a great win. Sorting your away record out, well, not sorting it out, but winning away when you struggle away is always a positive thing to see. But yeah, there's nothing else really to it. It's just like Vicario as well. I don't know what he was doing. Just gift it. It's out of all the players to give that kind of chance to, Wilson, like, he's definitely going to put it away from that distance. So it's like, yeah, just really not the day at the office for Spurs. The one redeeming light once again for Spurs is Mohamed Kudus. Just been their best player, like, without a doubt this season. Been a fantastic addition to the squad. Scored another goal. Could have given them the spark to go forward, but the rest of the team's performance just wasn't up to scratch. So yeah, it's 1 point for Kudus, but unfortunately no one else is helping him out, and it's a bit of a one-man show in that game. Giving Wilson a point. Obviously it was handed to him on plate, but it is a really nice little pass into the back of the net. Like, there's not many more players than Harry Wilson I'd want in that position. You know, like, a few players would scuff it, a few players would maybe get it just wide, but I trust completely in Wilson. He loves a dead ball. He's got that kind of crossing ability as well. So yeah, that was just like a goal that was written for him almost. So he gets a point. Giving Chukwueze 2 points. Started again, good. Keep starting him. He didn't start against City. I'll speak about him later, but I don't know why he didn't start against City. But he played against Spurs and was fantastic. Caused them so many problems. Got an assist, and yeah, it's just like, it blows my mind that him and Kevin don't start. I really, really want to see those two play together, because Fulham could become such a fun little outfit to watch if you've got those two, and then you got players like Iwobi, Smith Rowe, Wilson that are waiting in the wings, Josh King as well. Got these kind of players that are really like, I want to see these kind of players. Like, I really want to see Chukwueze on the pitch all the time, and he proved that he should be on the pitch all the time with that performance in that game. And Tete with the 3 points, he scored and kept Spurs' wingers for the most part silent. And Kudus was on the other flank, so whoever was on the left, I can't remember because they were so like average. Tete did his job and did it very well, and yeah, gets the 3 points. Very good overall performance. Palace 1 United 2. Palace shouldn't have even scored in that game. It baffles my mind that the penalty was allowed to be retaken. That just isn't the rule, like, at all. But either way, it wasn't good enough from Palace. They didn't capitalise on any of the chances that they had. They weren't strong enough, they weren't potent enough going forward. And yeah, United started slowly, conceded of course, but they brought themselves back into the game really well. And you know, Selhurst Park is a really difficult place to go to. It's not an easy place to go to in the slightest. To win at Selhurst Park, not a lot of teams are going to do that this season, so United can take away a very good 3 points from that game. Got Mateta, he scored his penalty, that put them in the lead. If they'd have seen it out, then nice, but they didn't, unfortunately for them. So yeah, but I think he still did alright. He got himself forward, he didn't get the ball enough. I think it's a bit of an off day for Palace's forward players, so yeah, it won't be one for them to remember, but yeah, it was a good effort nonetheless, and Mateta did alright, scored both penalties to be fair. Slipping and still scoring the penalty is quite a good effort, so fair play to him. They're giving Adam Wharton 2 points. I think he was back to, like, he was the general in that game. He was fairly controlling of the midfield battle in a sense, and like, a lot of people saying Anderson should start for England. I want Wharton to start for England. I think in terms of Anderson, I think Anderson's more of a similar profile to Rice than he is to Wharton. I think two Rice-esque players and then a centre attacking midfielder like Bellingham, like Palmer, like Foden, like Rodgers, whoever you want there, that's not going to be very balanced. I think having Wharton sitting back on, being able to link the midfield to the defence, I think that would really help us in the summer. And performances like this just kind of like prove me, in my heart, right as to why I want him to start for England. Xerxes came out the woodwork to score. Someone said she was dead. Yeah, I mean, goal's a goal. Like, Xerxes is a guy who's not scored for a very long time, so that can only do his confidence a world of good. I feel a bit bad for the lad that he just hasn't got the game time. Like, since he joined, like, Hoyland was awful, wasn't, and Xerxes still wasn't really getting the time. And now Sesko's come in, hasn't set the world alight, and he still hasn't really got on the pitch too much. Got subbed off earlier, I think, last season as well. But yeah, it's good to see him score, and maybe he can. I don't think he'll take this forward, to be honest. I just don't. But maybe it'll get him more minutes off the bench and try and prove his worth. Maybe get a move out of United in the summer or Jan. Mount again on the goal sheet. He's been quite underrated, I think, in terms of his impact for United this season. It's been the first time in a while that he's got actual minutes at United under his belt. Like, he's been injury prone for the rest of it. So I'm quite happy to see him like scoring, and you know, he won't get called up to England squad obviously, but in a World Cup year, this is what he needs to try and stake his claim. His performances have been good this season, and he scored 2 points. Bruno Fernandes gets 3. Did it all again for United. Was their best player. Got 2 assists. You know, you can't. It's just a classic, great Bruno performance. Really, that's all there really is to it. I mean, it was great in the game and got 3 points for me. He was player of the match. Forest 0, Brighton 2. I'm so surprised that Brighton didn't score. Like, Forest were under the cosh for loads. I thought it was going to be a classic Daichi, you know, shithouse 0-0, and Brighton were just so like persistent at Forest. Forest had the amount of times that Forest had 11 players in the box, and Brighton just couldn't break them down was what mad. But then all it takes is just that one little lapse, that one little slip, and then Brighton are in behind. It happened at the end of both halves. Morato, absolute donkey. Don't know what he's doing for that Zimas goal, but yeah, it's not a bad result because Brighton are a good team, but at home, Daichi teams make their grounds fortresses. So losing isn't like against Brighton, who are in good form. I guess it's not the worst result in the world, but wouldn't be what Daichi would have wanted. In a game where they kind of sat back and didn't really do much, I think Anderson was the star man. Again, I spoke about Wharton earlier. I wouldn't be sad to see Anderson start for England though. I'd rather Wharton, but I don't like. It's like choosing whether you want. It's like choosing between which like Michelin star steak you'd rather have in your midfield. Like, they're both fantastic players, and Anderson putting a great block on the line, I remember, for one of the Brighton chances, and whenever Forest did have a 4-0 forward, Anderson was one of the key men involved. And I will say about that, in a game like that, when you get the ball forward, Forest, as they did so rarely in that game, you have to score your chances, and they just didn't. Like, if one of the chances that they had one chance, I think Gibbs White just missed it. Like, if that goes in, that's a Forest win in my opinion. They sit back, they see the game out as Deitch does. But yeah, if they just what ifs, isn't it? I think Diego Gomez gets 1 point for me. I've really liked his cameos this season, and I think in the more advanced role in the midfield, I think he did really well. He's involved in quite a lot of Brighton's attacks. Obviously, they had a lot of them, and he was involved plenty. So yeah, he gets 1 point for me. Weeford from right back, I think, had a really good game. He kept Forest wingers very quiet. And yeah, when he got the ball, he looked composed, he looked calm, and he just aided in the attacks really well. So he gets 2, and De Kuyper gets 3. I thought he was a fullback, so I was quite surprised to see him on the wings. But I think he played a lot better than Minter did in that game, and he scored. Obviously, it was a really I watched the when I was watching Match of the Day, the little arrows or the little dots that showed tracking the run that he made and how he just found that pocket of space was fantastic awareness, and that's really what you want to see from your forward players. I guess he's forward player now because he's playing in that role, but yeah, he scored a goal that, if he doesn't score that, then you never know what could happen in that game. Like, Forest could sit there and see it out, but that's a really crucial moment, especially just before the half from De Kuyper, so he gets 3 points. West Ham 0, Liverpool 2. Again, there's not really a lot to be said about this game apart from the fact that Isak scored. Like, that's a massive moment for him in the start of his Liverpool career. Didn't take it forward into the Sunderland game, but yeah, that's positive for Liverpool to see that their big money man can actually get the ball in the back of the net. And away at the London Bowl, West Ham were starting to turn things around, so the fact that they've actually beaten them is solid. And You thought it'd be a start of like a bit of a points run for Liverpool. Maybe this is where they get themselves back into the top 4 spots. Obviously they drew against Sunderland, but you know, it's not losses, which is certainly better than before. As like depressing as that sounds for Liverpool, they haven't lost that game, which is better than what you could say previously. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's more positive than signs. This game was such a nothing, to be honest. I didn't watch this game. The quality wasn't fantastic. Liverpool scored twice, and that was all there really was to the. Joe Gomez getting on the pitch and got an assist. He deserves a bit more game time because of the poor performances at the back from Liverpool. So it's good to see him actually getting out there, and yeah, got an assist. So fair play to him. Gets on the point sheet. 13 whole game weeks before Alexander Isak gets a point in this godforsaken tier list. It's happened. It's many players have been on there before him. Some names that are like, how are they outperforming you? But yeah, it's finally happened for him. That goal should be the leapfrog now. This is where he needs to stake his claim and really put his foot down, bag 15 for the rest of the season, and start to prove people wrong. Gakpo with a nice little goal and assist there in the end to round it out for Liverpool. Yeah, just a solid performance on left wing. I don't think he was fantastic outside of it, but you know, he got in the important moments. He had the quality to show through. He scored, nice little goal, and his pass to Isak was good. Landed right for him to take the shot, so it's fair play to Gakpo. Gets 2 points, or 3 points. 2 weeks in a row, we have a player losing points, and it is Paquetá. What on earth was he doing? I don't want to say he did it on purpose, because obviously that's the meme thing to do, but there is no excuse for that. Okay, you get an audit decision, you get booked, whatever. Why do you carry on? You know that's going to get you another yellow card. Like, even if you don't think it'll get you another yellow card, if you know that that's a bookable offence, surely that's something you'd stop. And the referee isn't going to change his mind. He had Alisson, the opponent and the other team, coming over to say, "Come on, mate, let's chill out now," and he still got a red card. Like I really, again, I can't stress this enough. I really don't want to say that he did it on purpose, but you know, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, you know what? He doesn't do anything to like prove the haters wrong, as cringe as that sounds. Like, he put out this statement about the federation and that. You're a professional footballer, you earn so much money. What are you, like, stop acting like a petulant baby. And the last game of game week 13, Chelsea won, Arsenal won. Chelsea did well with 10 men. Caicedo getting a red card, a rare moment of head loss for him. Wanted to get stuck in. He was flying into challenges. You could kind of see that he was going to get a card eventually, but yeah, you can't really argue with the red there. It wasn't the last game of the week. I've got one more after that. I don't know what I'm on about, but it didn't help them going down to 10, obviously. But Arsenal struggled. Without Saliba and Gabriel, even though Hincapié and Mosquera did all right, Arsenal just don't have the presence. Like, when those two aren't on the pitch, I'm not confident that Arsenal aren't going to concede. When Gabriel and Saliba are on that pitch together, I just think, yeah, it's fine. I doubt they'll concede a goal. Like, even when they have a bit of a shaky moment, when they get put under pressure, I'm not nervous for Arsenal. But when Hincapié and Mosquera were there, they didn't do badly. But I just kind of thought, I'm just not sure about you lads. Chalobah gets the one for the goal. Chelsea were fairly defensively solid in that game. They had one little moment of where Marino scored, but yeah, defensively they were alright, and they were pretty solid going forward as well, and Chalobah's corner kind of marked that off for him. Bob Sanchez gets 2 points. When he was called upon, he saved well. Obviously, I don't think he could have done anything for the goal. It was a bit of a do I come, do I leave it, and yeah, it wasn't. I guess you can make the argument he should have come, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there. I think he had a good performance as well outside of that, so he gets 2 points. What a performance from Reece James. That was genuinely fantastic stuff from him. He was so good in the base of that midfield. His passing was excellent, constantly pinging the ball out to the wings. His defensive work was great. He led the team so well, and I just think that was one of the better performances of the weekend, and like, he's probably unlucky not to get Player of the Week. He's unlucky that there were good performances elsewhere, like Shaw. So Maybe if Chow didn't put that in, James definitely would have been a contender because he was just like so good. He was so good in that game. I really like the performance from Reece James, and I think he should be starting for England for me. His fellow debate buddy Timber gets 1 point. It was a solid performance from Timber on the right. Chelsea had a bit of freedom on the flanks. They had a bit of fun down on the flanks, but Timber kind of dealt with it fairly well. A lot of the balls at Chelsea, a lot of the attack at Chelsea had kind of fizzled out a little bit. They lacked the potency. They are really. Pedro's not doing it in that striker role. When he plays in the 10, he does better. But when Palmer comes back in, that's not feasible. Chelsea do need to buy another. Again, I think they need to buy another striker. But outside of that, I think Timber was good in the game, so he gets a point. I think Calafiori going forward and going back was actually very good. I think he was the better of the two fullbacks. Going forward, he caused Chelsea some problems. He got in some good situations. I think he had a couple of shots as well that didn't go in or miss, but yeah, I think it was positive from Calafiori. He when he got his card, I kind of thought because he got subbed off, which is just protecting. But I feel like it was a good idea because I think it was probably coming. But in the time that he played on the pitch, I think he did really well, so he gets 2 points. And the goal scorer gets 3. They didn't have They didn't have that many looks in Arsenal before the end of the game. That's when they kind of started to have a few more chances. But Marino, when he got the chance, got the headed goal. It's just what he needed to do. He's not a striker. He's not got that kind of he's not got as complete in the role as other people will be. But he did really well. He does really well there, seeing as he is like a fill-in. So it's fair enough to him. He gets 3 points. This was not a fun game for me at all. I did not enjoy this watching experience. Villa 1, Wolves 0. It wasn't our greatest performance. Again, we struggled against Wolves as we usually do. They put the ball in the back of the net first, was ruled out for offside, rightly so. But yeah, we just going forward, I think we struggled. Marlon started, which is what I wanted, but they just couldn't really get the ball to him. What I want to try is Watkins and Marlon at the same time. I think that would be worth a try. We were worth a shot at least, because when Marlon comes on with Watkins, he kind of, I think it makes Watkins a little bit better as well. So obviously I've been shouting for Marlon to start, but against Brighton, obviously Watkins did his thing, so I kind of want to see how they operate as a duo. But anyway, yeah, to not play very well and get the win, I take it. The goal was great, really really nice little goal. People say it's not sustainable. Well, against Brighton, but to have the to know that when the strikers are struggling a little bit, that we have players that can and aren't afraid to shoot and try and get a goal on the edge of the box when there's a team with 7 bodies in the box like Wolves were a lot of the time. I think that is really positive, and I'm really happy with that. We have players that are about that, so I take the win in the end. Bouba Kamara gets a point. Wasn't amazing outside of his goal. He was still good. He still had a good game as he usually does. But his finish was lovely. It just flicked up just for him to catch it on the volley. There was no movement on the ball right into the top corner. I was right there to see it as well. And he came celebrating in front of me, which was lovely. I appreciate that, Bouba. I know you're watching, obviously, so thank you for that, mate. But yeah, man, really nice goal. People will be saying Martinez was man of the match. There was one man that just edged it for me, but he was amazing in goal. He was fantastic in goal. A few really vital saves. The one off the bar was a really key one. There was a few towards the end of the game as well. Gomez, I think, cut in from the right and had a shot, but Martinez saved it. But yeah, back to his best in that game. He was really, genuinely fantastic. So he gets 2 points. Mr. John McGinn, he was everywhere. Everywhere. He was so important for us. He's off the ball. He brought, He brought the nasty work that we needed in that game to match Wolves. He brought the grit. He was willing to put a foul in, which is what you want. On the ball, his dribbling was great. He's really good with the ball at his feet. I don't know where it's come from, but he can dribble the ball really well. He was really, really competent with that. And yeah, he was for me the best player on the pitch for either team. So he gets 3 points pretty comfortably. This is a rare weekend where Wolves get 3 points, but I think they had a good performance in that game. And Chukwueze from right back, he caused Digne quite a lot of issues. He had the pace to get around Digne and put a lot of balls into the box. I think Shane Larson had quite a good game as well. He's not on the sheet, obviously, but yeah, I think Chukwueze fed the ball to Larson a lot, got the ball into the middle of the box. sometimes the end quality just wasn't there. But I think getting in the position, like if you throw shit at a wall and if it'll stick, and he got the ball to Tranlas and just unlucky that Arias was offside. Speaking of, Arias gets 2 points. I think he was also he was on that kind of side. I think he was playing in that kind of right attacking midfielder like kind of role. And I think he did quite a good job. I think he was pretty silky on the ball. He gave us a lot of problems, especially going from midfield, like taking the ball from the midfield into the final third. He was quite good at as well, and getting the ball out wide, he was pretty decent as well. So he gets 2 points. A lot of the times in the game, I think Wolves won the midfield battle, and I think Andre was a very, very big reason for that. He was great, I thought, for Wolves. He was really, really solid. Very, very like gritty. He put a challenge on Malen at the end of the first half that at the time really pissed me off. Some guy told me to calm down, so I was getting pretty angry at it. But that's the kind of thing that, you're happy that your midfielder's willing to do. He's willing to, put a foot in, get a bit rough and tumble, because yeah, it's that kind of game. So that's what you want from when you defend a midfielder. And on the ball, he was really good. His passing was great. His half turn is really good. So yeah, 3 points for Andre. Really well played. Finally, moving on to game week 14, we are coming to the second half of this video. Bournemouth and Everton won. Pretty of a slow game. I thought there were points in this for Bournemouth. I thought it would have been a draw, but no, nothing in it for Bournemouth in the end. It was a fairly even game. I don't think either team really had the better of it, so I think Bournemouth could feel a bit like annoyed. But for Everton, this is a great result. Bournemouth are a really good team. Going away to them, especially, it's never going to be easy. So they've done really well there to win the game. Outside of that, not really else much to say. First time in a while, Semenyo gets a point. Again, it wasn't his best game, but I don't think Bournemouth were that creatively strong. Going forward, he was kind of the man again. It was a point worthy performance in a game where Bournemouth weren't fantastic. So yeah, I mean, oops. Yeah, it's 1 point for Semenyo. It's a glimpse of what he showed earlier on in the season. Obviously, his form dipped a little bit, but maybe one of the transfer speculation he's getting to his head a little bit. He's gone a little bit of a dry spell recently. Obviously, I don't expect him to score every game, but yeah, it's 1 point. And Truefair gets 2 points. He was really good going down the left. I really like him. He's a really, really nice little fullback, and I'd really happily have him at Villa. Like when Digne's getting on a bit, when we eventually let go of Digne, I'd happily take Truefair to rotate with Maatsen. So yeah, 2 points. I feel quite bad for Barry. He's started to play well now that he started to be the main man that Moyes is looking to. But his goal is coming. His goal's got to be coming soon. It's like he's been plugging away. He's got so close. He's put the ball in the back of the net and it's been offside. It's been ruled out for whatever. But it's got to come for him. It was a good performance for him in the game. He just can't get over the line in terms of the goals. It's really unlucky. But I've started to really enjoy his performances. It's better than Beto for sure. It's a different dynamic though. He's a lot less bumbling than Beto in that sense. So I think I'd like to see him score. I really would, and he's getting there. He's getting close. A man that I do like as well, Timo Rubenham, was really solid in that midfield. Wasn't the strongest in the midfield for Bournemouth, and Rubenham was the best in the middle of the park for me. I think he controlled the game really well. Got down and dirty when he needed to, and yeah, really good performance from him, showing why I'm sad that we let him go, and we started to give him game time towards the end of the season, last season, and year before that. No, it was Everton last season. Well, the season before he left, we were giving him game time, and he showing why he deserved it. And another ex-Villa boy, Jackie G, gets 3 points. His goal wasn't fantastic, and it wasn't his best game. But the reason I'm putting him in is the goal was the key moment in the game. It takes deflection, yes, but that's 2 points that Jack Grealish has just won for Everton. Outside of the goal, he was still good as well. It wasn't a bad game by any stretch of imagination. He just wasn't his best ever performance. I'm sorry, I'm getting really distracted by the sun. The sun and my light are kind of moulding into one entity, so it's really weird, the lighting in my room right now. But yeah, anyway, getting a bit sidetracked. Didn't take on the fact that Grealish had a good game. Not his best, but the goal was very important, and he gets 3 points. I am so annoyed at the time that I could not watch this game. My how can I say this? My television a gentleman from which I subscribed to my football watching services, the payment we hadn't renewed, and so the streaming service, the commercial streaming service that we used, was unavailable, and I missed a 9-goal thriller. Fuming. This was so mad. Like, City were so potent up front. They just drilled the goals in, and they had a chance to like make it 6 at one point. I'm not saying the other number. Haaland maybe missing a few chances, but he scored and assisted twice, so he still did his job. And Fulham, I'm going to speak about the man that came on in a second, but the way they turned it around was great, and they nearly had a fifth, just a great block off the line by Guardiola, but this was a crazy, crazy game. Like, this is what you want to see in the Premier League. These are the kind of matches that make you enjoy football and make you want to turn the telly on when the games are on. This is like proper Christmas footy in its truest and purest form. So much fun to watch. I'll be a little bit weirded out if I was City. Like, again, you've almost fumbled 2 leads now. You did against Leeds, but they obviously won the game, and you nearly dropped it at the end if it wasn't for a Guardiola clearance. But to concede 4 goals and still lose the game must be like, that must, as a Fulham fan at that game, I don't think you'd have got many more like adrenaline inducing matches. Like, those kind of games when you're chasing that goal, at the time they're so much fun. Like, you're so invested, you're so like that, and then after the game it kind of crashes and you're just like, for God's sake, how didn't we get the point in that? But yeah, to be honest, even though they did poorly to concede so many goals, Fulham can really hold their heads up high, man. Like, they came out so well. Smith Rowe scored a lovely little goal to get them 1-0 up. Well, not 1-0 up, fucking hell, not a chance. But to get them their first goal of the game, I mean to say. It was a nice little header, and out of the Fulham performances, it was all forward, and same with City, it was all the forward line that took the credits. And no one in the defensive sense can hold their heads up high. So yeah, it's a point for Smith Rowe. Iwobi with the goal as well. It was a really nice finish, and I think he facilitated really nicely to the players. He was really important in the build-up play. I don't think he should have started. I think he started out wide, and again, I want to see Kevin playing. I want Chukwueze on the wings for Fulham, please. Is that too much to ask for? Even though Iwobi played really well, I'd love to see like him in the deeper role, and then King or Smith Rowe in the 10, something like that. It's just like, come on, man, give me what I want. You will give me what I want. But yeah, it was a good performance, even though I think there could have been a better performance if Kevin started. So it's 2 points for Iwobi. I don't know how I'm shitting on him when he's still got 2 points. Like, he played well. I'm going to end at that. He played really well, 2 points. This might be quite a surprise, but player of the week for game week 14 is Samuel Chukwueze. He came on, and he was, by a very, very strong margin, the best player on that football pitch. I don't care who had scored before that, I don't care who had done what before that. He came on, he just was electric. He completely opened the game up for Fulham. He had City like on the ropes. Like, whenever he got the ball, it was like, Jesus Christ, this guy is different gravy. And he scored twice, and he just made Fulham tick when he came on. He needs to be starting. I don't get why he was dropped for this game, especially when he played so well in the other one. So it's strange, but people might disagree. People might say Haaland this, that, other people, that maybe Watkins, something like that, and Hecker, but I don't think you can argue. Chukwueze, for me, was fantastic in that game and deserves player of the match. Ryan's back on the goal sheet. Not a bad performance from him. Again, hasn't hit the heights of game week 1 against Wolves, but I think he did all he needed to do. Fulham weren't that great in the midfield, and I think Reinders was fairly solid and scored a really nice little goal. Really good running from behind Haaland, so he gets 1 point for me. Foden put 2 really nice finishes away, and he gets 2 points. This is the Foden we do want to see. I do like Foden, and I want to see him playing well like he did in 23-24, I think it was. So yeah, he gets 2 points, and starting to see, now that he's getting that run of game time, we're starting to see him like really showing out. Arguably as well, could be player of the week, but Haaland with a goal, 2 assists. First 114 games and 100 goals in the Prem is just disgusting. For like, what the fuck, man? What are you actually doing with yourself? Like, get a life, unique. But yeah, really good performance. Hit the post as well at one point. Could have made it. Could have made it 6. But yeah, I'm not. You're not gonna complain at a goal. Really nice goal it was as well. And then 2 assists. Really did a good job. So yeah, he gets 3 points. Newcastle 2, Spurs 2. I don't think this is a bad result for honestly either team. Because Newcastle weren't fantastic in the game, and Spurs aren't in great form. But away from home at St James's Park is never an easy place to go, even though Spurs are better away. But yeah, with the way that they lost the game, if I was a Newcastle fan, I'd be really annoyed. I don't think you should have got the penalty. I think the penalty was 2 players that were going at each other. They were pulling each other. Burn had Bentancur in a headlock. Bentancur wasn't focused on the ball. He was focused on pushing Burn out the way and stuff. So a commentator even said they won't give anything for this. There's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Then they went and checked anyway, and I completely agree with the commentator originally. So yeah, Romero's goal was weird. I don't know what Ramsdale was doing. It was slow. I know there were bodies in the way. I know there were. I don't know how no one blocked it, but I think he could have been able to see that coming. I do think he could have. So yeah, 2-2 in the end, and to be fair, I think it probably is a deserved result. Again, I think Marley had a really good game. He put himself about, got himself forward, and created chances, and that's again what I think they're lacking when they play Joe Linton. I do. Joe Linton, I don't think was very good. Guimaraes came on, and obviously made a difference, but I think those 3, Tonali, Guimaraes, Marley going forward is definitely what I want to see from Newcastle. Dan Burn was really solid at the back though. Obviously won the penalty, which came from him causing Bentancur problems and causing my vocal cords problems as well. Fucking hell, hit puberty, Alfie, Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's a good performance from Burn. He's as Newcastle kind of started to fade away, like their form kind of started to dip, his performance has dipped a little bit as well, gave away a few penalties against Brentford and stuff like that. But yeah, this was really solid. Nothing he could have done about the goals, I don't think. Anyway, but yeah, 2 points for Burn. And Bruno G came on and made a difference, that's why he's got 3 points. In the cameo that he made, he was so impactful, just turned the game around, made the midfield look so much more assured. When Marley does play, obviously he does lack experience, but when you've got players like Tonali and Bruno G next to you, like when they play that midfield 3 that I do want to see, that they can almost not hold his hand because he's a confident player, capable player that can, play for himself, but they can kind of, in the moments when you need them, they can guide him through. So yeah, Guimaraes came on, scored a really, really nice little peach of a goal and gets 3 points. I think Bergvall was a really solid player in that game. He had a chance, I think he had a flick which just went over the bar, but again, I like him in the midfield for Spurs. I don't think he gets enough game time for me. I think in that game he was like, it was similar to Miley in the sense that they both played in the midfield and they both impacted the forward play quite a lot and in quite positive ways. So that's why they both had very similar performances. They both sat on the 1 point in the 1 point role for me. Another great performance as always from Kudus, another GA on the tally, and yeah, he's just different gravy. Like, he's so good. He makes a difference every game for Spurs, and it was exactly the same in that one. Another potential player of the week, but Cuti Romero with 2 goals that basically won them the point. Like, the header was lovely. It's what you want to see from a defender in that kind of position off the set piece. And then the bicycle kick, while it wasn't a very good one, again, if you don't shoot, you don't score. And it was able to get it on target in a position which was awkward for everyone. It wasn't very powerful, so people were like, what's going on here? Kind of confused everyone. So yeah, while he did shin it and he didn't get the cleanest contact that he probably wanted, he's still winning the goal. So it's a defender scoring a bicycle kick, you can't complain. Arsenal 2, Brentford 0. This was a very routine Arsenal win, and I don't have a lot to say about this game because there wasn't a lot for Brentford in it. They had one chance which just saves them very well onto the bar by Raya. Outside of that, I don't think Brentford didn't really cause much problems, and when Arsenal got the 1-0, you didn't feel like they were going to concede. You didn't feel like they were going to drop points. I felt as if, this is just going to be a nice little Arsenal win. It doesn't matter really how many they score. it wasn't really their day going forward. They had a few chances and couldn't really get it off. Saka came on at the end and scored. So when it was 1-0, it was kind of just like, okay, this is going to be an Arsenal win, and without any doubt in my mind. And, you know, it was. To come out of the wilderness and put in such a good performance is actually a testament to Ben White. I said to my stepdad, who's an Arsenal fan, I said, I think Ben White has one of the best jobs in the world. He doesn't like football, he said it himself, really. It's just a job to him. But that job allows him to stay healthy, allows him to hoover up so much more money than he would have in any job that he would have liked to do. He has a lot more free time than other roles do, and you know he has the support and love of the Arsenal fans. He doesn't play that much, but he can come on here and there and put in a shift and where he needs to, which is actually like a testament to him and his character. Obviously, he's not like, he won't be the most dedicated man in the world because it's not his thing, but I think he's probably one of the people with like the most like best, like with one of the best jobs in the world. And he came on and he was great. He was good going forward, got the assist, and was solid at the back, so he gets a point for me in that game. Fair play, Ben White. Nani Madueke gets 2 points. He was really, really exciting in that game. He literally played the role that I said he would when he came on for Arsenal. He is that kind of exciting player against the weaker defences. Like, he caused Brentford some serious problems. Like, his flick for White for the goal was really, really nice. He had a few chances himself. Obviously not the most prolific, so I don't really blame him for not scoring. But yeah, this is the kind of game that justifies the money spent. And in back-to-back games, Marino gets the 3 points. Another header. Literally, he's running for the... He's got that goal nailed on. He puts himself on the 6-yard box and gets good contact with the ball, and it goes in the back of the net. It's just too much for the keepers to deal with. They can't do anything about it. And yeah, he gets 3 points. I know he was at fault. Well, I say at fault. I know he made a mistake for Saka's goal, but I think Keller had a really good game. He made a lot of saves in the game. He had to do a lot of work. He couldn't really do much about the first goal. The second goal, he got a hand to it. Obviously, it wasn't a strong enough hand, which is not good on his end. It is poor on his end, undoubtedly so. But I still think he did well in the game. I would have put him, if it wasn't for that last goal, he would have been in the 2 point position. But you know, if man on a ball, she'd be my granddad. So yeah, he gets 1 point in the end, which was still a solid performance. Ethan Pinnock got 2 points from me in that game. I saw he got 18 defensive contributions. Now, I'm not one for statistics, you know that. But defensive contributions is one of the only ones I actually kind of really pay attention to in the process of making these videos. And for the most part, I think Ethan Pinnock and the Brentford defence did actually put a solid shift in. Whenever they were beaten, Kelleher was there. I was going to say Flecken and then Kepa. I don't know why those two, like, that my brain just could not, like, fathom the word, like, who was in goal for a second. But yeah, I think Pinnock did really well in that game, and I think for me he deserves 2 points. A fairly underrated performance. I cannot keep watching games like this because I'm going to need some form of life support. I'm going to need like intensive care. I'm going to need a care house, like a care home, something along them lines. But this team, I love this team, but Jesus Christ, these kind of games, I cannot keep watching these games every week. I will have a heart attack come game week 38. Brighton 3, Villa 4. For the neutrals must have been fantastic. We go 2-0 down for 2 really poor goals, and I'm just sat there like, God's sake. I thought, okay, you know what, away at Brighton, fair enough, we're going to lose. Can we just like get back in the game, maybe put some pressure, try and push for the point? No. No. After the second goal went in, we were really good. We had a penalty shout, there was contact there, whatever. We had a really good chance that we thought had gone in but didn't. Watkins scored 2 goals, which made me really happy. And then second half, until like the last so minutes until the third goal, we were really good. We sat back a little bit after the third goal. Emery's substitutions were great. They came on and really made a difference. Obviously, I'll speak about one of them in a bit, but Tielemans was really good when he came on. I think Digne was really assured when he came on. I think Maatsen as a left back is very inconsistent in games. He'll lose the ball a little bit here and there, which he does, but he can get back quickly enough to put a challenge in. He'll always cause an issue for the defender, and you can never really write him off going backwards because he has the pace to make up for it if he A, loses the ball or B, makes a mistake. But I think Digne coming on being a bit more of a confident, calm head was better in the moment. But yeah, Brighton were really good. It was a very end-to-end game, and either team really, it could have gone either way. I'm happy that we got the win in the end. Changed the starting 11, which put Bizot, put him in a poor. I'm stuttering a little bit because I don't wanna hold his hand too much and give him too much of the benefit of the doubt. But when there's a change to starting 11 10 minutes before the game, it's like I don't necessarily blame him for not being in the right position for the goal, but even then I would have liked him to save that. I think he should have probably got to it. I mean, it wasn't a corner in the first place, but that's, mistakes like that happen all the time, who cares? But it's a very good 3 points for us. That's the main thing. It's a very good 3 points, and Brighton are so inconsistent all the time that it's like this isn't really anything to be fazed by. Like, this result happens. I mean, Bournemouth lost like this to us. We were on great form at the moment, so Brighton, I think it's just a case of pick yourself up, dust yourself off. You showed really good heart to get back in the game, so yeah, I don't think it's really on them at all. Verbruggen came up with some really important saves. The Gesson cross that Dunk nearly put in his own net, the Gesson header. I'll use this chance to say that Gesson, for the first time, I think, made me think, yes, I like you. His first half was poor, and his second half he was really positive, I thought, which was good. However, speaking about Verbruggen, I just got a bit sidetracked. Verbruggen's a very good keeper. Like, he's a very good young keeper. He's ironing out the mistakes that we saw last season. But yeah, he put in a good shift in that game. Put in a very solid shift, and it gets 1 point for me. I thought Vifa again was really decent. Going down that right, he got an assist in the game, and obviously we broke down there for the first goal, but I think that was more him struggling with both Rodgers and Maatsen, as opposed to anything being bad on him. I think him at right back does work quite well. He kept us quiet down that side for quite a lot of the game. So yeah, I'm going to give him the 2 points. And Van Hecke with the 3 points. His first goal was poor for us, but he was there and he capitalised. And the second goal was a lovely little finish. Just curl it into Bizot's far post. It was really, really good work, and gave them the just to get back in the game and try and the want to try and score another goal, which was very important for them. He's a really tidy little player and definitely deserving of 3 points for me. Someone said it was 4 seconds after he came on. Obviously, it wasn't that quick for the time, but in terms of the actual time for the ball being in play, wow, Malen, like, he just does. I don't know how he does it. There's been 3 occasions, I think, this season where Marlon's come off the bench and scored, or 2 or 3 occasions, and I've seen him coming on, and I think, yes, I'm gonna put a quid on you to score or assist, because this is the kind of game that you could take by the scruff of your neck. And he scores or assists too early for me to actually put the bet on. It happened against Bournemouth, and it happened against Villa. I'm sure it happened in one other game as well. I don't remember which other game it was, but I remember it happening. And it's like, let me win money off you, Daniel, please. But this is a testament to Unai's subs. This is the physical embodiment of how good of a manager Unai is, because he brings him on and literally scores straight away. It was what we need. He was the kind of player that we needed in that moment, because he could take the game by, not by the scruff of the neck, but give us someone that was not only willing to go back and do defensive work, but bring on a dynamic live wire that will cause their defence a lot of issues. And he was the one awake for the goal. He was the one that was there to capitalise and put it in the back of the net. So yeah, 1 point deservedly so for me for Martin, because it was also a very important goal. Rodgers struggled again early on in the game, but his ball to Watkins was fantastic. Really good vision and really, really well executed. And his pass to Maatsen for the pre-assist for the first goal was really great. And whenever he did actually get on the ball in a forward position, I think he caused a problem. It didn't happen enough. I think he was absent at times in the game, but Rodgers is really starting to put some form together. This is the guy that we missed at the start of the season. This is the guy that, you know, was £100 million rated player by us. So yeah, this is like deserved of 2 points for me, and we're really starting to see the best of Rodgers. I was so happy to see Ollie score 2 goals. I really was. He missed that chance early on. I was like, this is the same old Ollie, but he got the poacher's goal. That got his confidence up, and then he got the goal from Rodgers' ball, and that's just what we want to see. That's what we want to see from Ollie Watkins. This is the guy that we think is second choice striker to Harry Kane at the World Cup this year. He was second choice in Euros. This is the guy that we want to be there in case Harry's not having a good game, and you know, can he please finally use this to turn this around? He scored 2 different goals that he would have missed earlier on in the season. 2 goals that, you know, these are 2 different goals that strikers love to score. Getting onto the end of that ball and then that poacher's goal. So if he can keep that up, then we're going to be rolling. A very nothing game. Like a really, really nothing game. Burnley were very solid defensively is one thing that I can point out. They held Palace down, didn't really cause them much chance, didn't give them much of a chance, but Palace, who also are a very defensively solid team, kind of did the same. It was like immovable object meets immovable object in a sense. So yeah, it was a bit of a quiet, a bit of a nothing game. Munoz scored, I think it was in the first half, which is obviously good for my FPL, which I'm not going to complain about, but yeah, not much going on. I'm going to speak about both the Burnley centre-halves as a unit. Jesus Christ, nose is going. But Ekdal in 1 point, Estevan 2 points. Really nullified Palace going forward. They kept them to minimal chances. They forced Munoz to be the one that has to score. It wasn't one of any of the forward players really. Obviously Munoz is a forward player in that system, but he's the right wing back. He's not one of the attacking midfielders, the 3 that you'd expect that sit there that Palace have, that you'd expect to be in the GA. Sorry, that was grim, but yeah, that's a testament to how solid Burnley can be. Parker has a good system there. He really does. He needs the players because these 2 put in a great performance, and they need someone that you can say, okay, I'm either going to bring you on or I'm going to start you and we're going to get a breakaway and you're going to be the one that facilitates it, or you're going to be the one that converts a chance. That's what Burnley need. I'm so annoyed. I've just spent the last 10 minutes doing the Wolves Forest game. Let me see, the Leeds Chelsea game, the Liverpool Sunderland game, and my footage is cut because I don't have enough disk space because I've been recording for that long. So I'm going to really quickly fire through them. So you got Wolf with 1 point, Gibbs White, Hutchinson, and Igor Jesus getting the points for Forest. For Leeds Chelsea, Bijol got 1 point, 2 points for Gudmundsson, 3 for Tanaka, 1 for Neto, and then 1 for Chiesa, 2 for Wirtz, 1 for Reynaldo, 2 for Alderete, 3 for Roos. I'm not going to record them again because I need to go to work soon, but yeah, I've been recording for so long that's just completely, absolutely annihilating my disk space. So yeah, that's so frustrating. I had some good things to say as well, but well, what can you do? Anyway, here's what it's looking like. Here's your point scorers at the top, and Haaland all the way over here. He's standing as a lead with 23 points. That's the highest point scorer so far. Grealish in second with 18. Minter has been caught up by Thiago and Ndi, and he's got a massive long list of players now. And Wirtz has slotted in. There he is. Wirtz, look at you. And he sat there. And he's your player of the week. So they have moved now. They moved over to 7 point place, and Chukwueze and Chow getting involved. I would record the other 3 games again, but I just can't. I just don't have the time for it, so I'm just going to have to leave it like that. I'm very sorry about that, boys. Thank you very much for watching.